we are of the strong view there is a new organized crime that is happening within the informal settlement sector. And as government, we have no choice but to respond with the necessary force if needed. In a move to strengthen accountability, the Executive Council has dedicated every Wednesday to direct community engagement. One of the areas that we want to go back to our communities is matters related to drugs, in particular, Nyaupen, the drugs that have destroyed our young people. We're going to engage in various roadshows in communities to identify and get those that need assistance to be available immediately through the coordinated approach that we've adopted at the Executive Council. Amongst the areas is the provision of the necessary medication through the Department of Health, economic activities through the Department of Economic Development, but most importantly, the social support through the Department of Social Development. We are of the strong view that this is a long overdue commitment that we have made, and due to the seriousness of it, we have not made the necessary progress that we thought we would have made by now. But our commitment to engage with our communities will assist us to resolve this matter. Once more, I want to thank members of the Executive Council, especially those political parties that are part of the Provincial Government of Unity, who have demonstrated their loyalty and commitment to ensure that this government functions. We want to thank the political parties, especially their leaders, who have extended a hand on some of the issues that need to be resolved in the provincial government. We have noted the statement that was released by the IFP Provincial Secretary about the nature and the caliber of the government of provincial unity. The national leadership of the IFP have since contacted us and distanced themselves from that statement and committed to speak to the provincial secretary of that party. I led negotiations with RISE, Mzansi, a political party that has a representative in the executive, and RISE Mzansi has reaffirmed their commitment on this matter. In terms of political discussions, the African National Congress is in full discussions with the PA and the EFF on matters that has the potential to affect governance either in Johannesburg or other municipalities. As soon as these matters are resolved, they will be brought to government and will communicate the way forward on these issues. Where we stand, we really believe that we have a government that is viable, ready to serve our people, and most importantly, to welcome those that will be coming for the G20 and those that will be enjoying golf in the next few months in March. Let's conclude by thanking the Scorpions team who have organized a successful concert, which we have utilized as a test to determine whether our systems can hold when we convene such huge events. We congratulate those that have organized this event, as it has brought huge economic spin-offs in our province, and we welcomed people that came from other neighboring countries that joined the concert. As Gauteng, we remain the home of champions and the home that can coordinate and convene national and international events. Thank you so much for it.
Thank you very much, Premier, for the detailed report. I'm going to now request that we move to question time, and we will ask that you indicate your interest in asking a question by raising your hand, and once recognized, you then announce who you are, who you work for, and then proceed to ask your question. I'm seeing 2 hands for now, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so let's take the first 5 questions. Because I'm left-handed, I'll start on my left. We'll start with your ID, and then we'll go to the other side. Please proceed.
It's Heidi Jacques from ENCA. Premier, I just wanted to find out in terms of the Nasi Spiny program, could you just indicate exactly where the money is going to come from? Previously you had challenges with the program, with some indicating that they weren't paid on time, Can you assure that that will not happen? And then just your views as a Premier, as much as the Nasi Spani program is a solution, it's a short-term solution. So how is Gauteng going to try and ensure that you have a long-term solution to create jobs in the province? Thank you.
Let me respond immediately. During the budget allocation, the MEC responsible for finance allocated 50 million rands for this program of NASIS. Unfortunately, we worked together with the SITAs, and all of you know the challenges of SITAs at national, but they've been non-functional for quite some time because the appointment of administrators created problems, and therefore there was a delay. And I met with the new Minister of Higher Education on the kind of support that they will provide, and I'm quite convinced that we're not going to have any financial problems. Actually, since the inception of NASIS Bank, we've never had problem of payments with administrative problems of those that could not be paid on the basis of various strict systems in government. For example, if you earn the 350 grand and are part of the program, the payments will not go through. Or you receive any other grant, the payments will not go through. But we also had teething problems on the basis of the system that needs to be used to pay. Because some of our programs, if you use the government payment system of salaries called PESA, it makes some certain compulsory deductions like UIF, tax, and other. So the amount that we pay becomes really small. So we need to have alternative payment mechanisms, which unfortunately could not carry the numbers that we had. And also, I've seen a latest statement by the Youth League that there are some payments that are still outstanding of some of the projects. And I asked the DG to attend to those concerns. But if you have a program as big as this NASIS Span thing, that in my last count, the people that we've empowered, employed, can fill the entire FNB stadium. It's an indication that naturally there will be limitations. But that does not mean that the program is not successful. And we are deliberate that it's a short-term support system, but there are long-term support systems. We've just went through our investment conference and we're there, Heidi, where we managed to gather almost 300 billion, which are new people that are going to create permanent jobs for our people. We are also aware that the economy is not performing that well. There are major companies that are leaving our province. And we are also worried that institutions like ArcelorMittal are intending to offload lots of people that need to be employed. But we are also encouraged that there are new companies that are coming. I mean, I just welcome Chair International, which is intending to open their plant in our province. I also welcomed Pepsi Cola that disinvested in our province is coming back to open a major plant to service the entire African continent. We have to create that environment to create jobs. I've signed a very interesting agreement with the province of Hunan in China that is going to service our agricultural sector. The Tshwane municipalities, in the next few days, they will invite you if they've not invited you. They're going on a massive investment conference because we've worked with them and there's potential investment. So our support to create jobs, obviously it will be short-term, which is NASIS Plan, long-term, which is the investment that we continue to attract, including the expansion of the Gauteng. We are of the view that it's going to create long permanent jobs when the construction for the expansion resumes. And our commitment to build a speed train between the two provinces of Gauteng and Limpopo. Thanks.
Thank you, Premier. Let's take the third question.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning. My name is Panel. I'm from TMS Online. Premier, thank you so much that you have addressed the issue of substance abuse, which in TMS I think is one of the major problems that we are facing. But fortunate enough, there's some movements and organizations that are trying to at least fight the substance and also take people to rehab. But the challenge, the gents are coming back. The movement, I think it's called Tembisa Drugs Rehabilitation Movement, owned by Tato Matume. They are 3 years now. The gents have came back from rehab, stayed maybe 3-4 months, went back again to the streets because there's nothing that they are doing. I just wanted to find out if is there any, by means of e-government, that they assist such organizations, and also being assisted in terms of forming a proper structure, whether having a rehab of some community-based kind of, where Amachita will be then taken to those such, because already they are doing such. I'm not their advocate, I'm just sharing based on their experience. They are 3 years now. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, I agree with you. I know those formations. And that's the reason why we took stock of our substance abuse. It's many things that the team is working out. One of the areas that we really believe that we need to look upon is the issue of liquor licenses. That we can't just have a free-for-all distribution and issuing of liquor licenses. There are just too many. And they need to be managed. So to have the capacity to do that, we want to, but we really believe that let's consult the industry and the sector. And we remain hopeful that they will accept that we can't have every second house being a liquor license, because it starts there before it goes to hard substances like drugs and other related matters. So the Executive Council spent much time analyzing that particular sector. And that is why you see our proposals is threefold. It's for us to identify and go and meet with them at community level. The second part is to create economic opportunities. The Department of Economic Development is going to develop a mechanism so that when they conclude their rehabilitation, there are economic activities that will allow them to work. And the third area is the actual social support that the Department of Social Development will do. So we've spent lots and lots of time. Indeed, we accepted that we failed our communities on this part. We made big plans, put resources, but we underestimated the numbers. When the numbers came, we didn't have the capacity to accommodate those numbers. So with the lessons that we've learned, we are now putting up the necessary systems. But we are going community by community. You will see we'll be running massive campaigns where we are requesting parents to literally bring their children to us at community walls so that we can be in a position to give support. And those that need immediate help, we are also bringing our medical teams to provide that help. But we'll then deal with the issues of the institution that you've raised, Mfanel, so that we can give that institution support as well.
Thank you, Premier. Let's take question number 4.
Okay, Junior Komalo from Newsroom Africa Premier. The first question is on the Nasispani project. You spoke about bringing in these young people to complete some of these unfinished projects within the province. Do we by any chance have a number in terms of how many unfinished projects and maybe a tally in terms of the cost of these unfinished projects? And what happens then to the companies that we awarded those tenders to build these projects? Do we now just let that go, or what happens there? And just lastly, on the political killings task team, you spoke about having created a database after meeting with the minister. Was there an indication of how many individuals have been killed in the province? Thank you.
Junior, and that's the area that I said to. I chair every quarter a meeting of infrastructure in our province. If you can see the report, you can see that government does not have capacity. And those that were relying on them to build roads, to build clinics, to build schools, they are taking advantage that government does not have capacity. I can show you a list of clinics that if we have concluded them on the basis of the contracts that we've given them to conclude them by a certain period, I'm of the view that we will not have a problem of clinics in our province. If I can give you the list of schools that are unfinished, And I can give you the contracts where if you give a contract to junior, Heidi will take you to court. And we spent time in court to say, should we give it to junior or to give it? Whereas society does not have vote. So we met, we received these reports. Personally, I felt that it's unjustifiable that the state does not have capacity even to fix. I mean, now with G20, you see a traffic sign, stop sign. That stop sign is about to fall. To get somebody to fix it, you must go on a tender to come and just tender, or a school that needs to be painted. You can't paint that school because the state does not have capacity. So now, the NASISPANI now is about building capacity for that state. So that if we need plumbing, bricklaying, we don't have to go on a tender. The same budget, it's 13 billion rands of unfinished projects. Just tell me 13 billion rands. Old age centers that have been built, left unattended. Driving licenses centers that have been built, left unattended. And you feel that the state must now be at the mercy of tenderers. But besides the tenderers themselves, they're either threatening our officials, killing each other, whistleblowers reports stand unresolved. I'm of the strong view. Time has arrived that you build that capacity within the state. And you can't have unemployment that is so high, but you are training centers called schools. During December, during September holidays, they're standing empty. Teachers that are going through difficulties of high price of electricity are complaining that their salaries are not enough. So if you train these people and pay the teachers to get extra money, you'll have the capacity because these training centers are there. This is our schools. This is our teachers. They've got all these technical schools. They've got all these facilities to train the unemployed. So that's the angle that we've taken. But obviously, such an intervention will attract, as I say, people, ID said, we have not paid other people before. So people will use something to say, no, this thing is either electioneering, when they forget that I was elected last year. So I can't electioneer because I was just elected last year. We just have to continue to do the commitment to build the capacity of the state. The political killings, the numbers are shocking. They're still trickling in. We have to extend it even to 2010 and say, let's start at 2010. There are those that stretches beyond 2010. But for purpose of completeness, we say, let's start with 2010 up until now. And there are people that have given us those names. But beside, you know, every person that dies in our country, police records those incidences. So we also received those reports. And there are people that they've just been killed and no one follows up.